It's unbelievable what some of our favorite projects have been up to this week. Quant's Overledger Gateway is now live. The numbers from the SBI VC trade deal with the XDC network are starting to trickle in. And VeChain is getting real comfortable with Hong Kong, ladies and gentlemen. The market itself is still pretty quiet. We're still floating above 30K for Bitcoin. However, this morning, Michael Saylor did announce that he was buying some more Bitcoin. Usually when that happens, things tend to get a little green. You're watching DHN. It's time to talk crypto. So we're going to start with the biggest story of the week. Quant Network's Overledger Gateway is now live, ladies and gentlemen. If you're newer to Quant and you don't know exactly what this means, I'm going to tell you, this is big. This is one of Quant Network's biggest applications to date. Now, what this means is that the massive connectivity network that is built on Quant is now available to pretty much everyone. All right, and I find it funny that just about a week prior to this news, the Bank for International Settlements, they come out and state that they used the Overledger Gateway as part of Project Rosaline, which was a CBDC pilot focused on API connectivity between central banks. See, I keep telling you guys how important they're going to be. It's almost becoming a universal standard at this point. But yes, according to the press release that Quant would then publish a little bit later yesterday evening, this is going to open the door and allow for the same functionality to be tailored to small to medium enterprises. Now, as I'm reading this, here's what I'm immediately beginning to think, and I believe this would make a great video, because when you look at the ecosystem for the Quant network, there are a lot of big players. One that I'm particularly watching is the LAC chain, because currently the banks that are participating on the LAC chain are already using the Overledger Gateway. It was being used though in testing grounds, and it was really kept under the radar. Now I'm assuming that they can start publicizing the use of it, and then they can start promoting the use of it. So I can pretty much guarantee, guys, that now that this Overledger Gateway is live, we are going to see a lot of positive price action for the Quant network in the coming months. It may not be immediate, it may not be right away, but that's fine, guys. You guys know that we're here for the long term, and Quant just made a play that is going to keep them around for a very long time. But let's jump over to XDC, another one of our favorites, guys. I got a couple stories from the XDC ecosystem I want to share with you. First, we have a winner from one of their most recent hackathons. XDC, I have noticed this summer, has spent a lot of attention focused at building out their developer community, which is a great thing to see. If a project is not building, they're not winning. The winner of this competition, they won 50 grand to develop a new multi-chain NFT management platform. Now, upon initial reading, the platform sounds a lot similar to Prime Numbers. You have your NFT management side to it, you have your data asset management side, and there's a possibility that they could also do a little bit of tokenization on behalf of the XDC network as well. Very early stage, they just received funding, like I said, but this is a project that we can look forward to. You have to keep in mind, with these hackathons, this is how the process usually goes. There's an application that receives the funding, and then we start to see that application listed on the website in the next few months. So, again, like I said, it's similar to Prime Numbers, so it's good to see XDC building out in that direction. Now, another thing that I have noticed, I've been looking at the volume for the XDC network ever since this SBI VC trade deal, because remember, they told us that XDC would be added to their exchange. With that, I'm starting to look to see where the numbers are going to start to tick up at. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they are beginning to. I actually posted out a tweet that showed a slight increase. Over the last 7 days, though, we're up about 190%. So there's a lot of volume and activity going into the XDC network right now, and it just so happens to line up with the announcement of that arrangement. So that's gonna do wonders for the XDC network. And then we also have, they published an update this morning, which I also shared, providing custody guidelines before trading begins. they basically set a investor minimum or a custody minimum, and for XDC it's 600,000, and then others they have on there: Stellar Lumens 250,000, Flare Network you need 1 million, Atom, also known as Cosmos, you need 200 of those. This is showing us though that the pieces are being put in position, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a very good thing to see. Very exciting. Now, a couple more altcoin stories for you though. We're talking Iota and Swiss One Capital in this one, guys. So there's a new SISO fund. This is going to go towards the Iota and Shimmer networks. Swiss One Capital is a regulated investing channel out in Switzerland. They're talking about a minimum 10K investment, and this is going to be a collaboration with the Tangle Ecosystem Association. So Swiss One is basically bringing in more money for Iota to help with development of the Iota network and the Shimmer networks. Now, as I was looking around, about this, see if I can get some more context, right? There's a rumor, and this is a rumor, all right, that Swiss One has been invested in Iota for a long time. We're talking about going all the way back to 2019, and there is even word that Swiss One Capital is helping Iota develop an IoT payment processing application. It's called IoT Smart Data. Now, this, I'm going to tell you where I seen it at. It was on Telegram. So, take it with a grain of salt, but it sounds very interesting. It really does. I did the digging afterwards to see if I can find any other relationships between Iota and Swiss One. The only thing that I saw was that on Swiss One's website, there's a fund dedicated specifically to Iota and a couple other projects, but you can't, unless you're an accredited investor already, you can't access the information to that fund. But if what the rumor suggests, that the relationship between Swiss One and Iota has existed since 2019, man, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Iota is always a project that makes me do my most research, okay? But I love it, and I see that IoT is going to be an element of the future economy. So I'm trying to get a position right now and sharing information about it. Hope that you guys will be able to get a position as well. But we're going to jump forward and talk about another low-key altcoin, payment coin, that I am enjoying the ride right now with it being in my portfolio. We're talking about RSR, guys, and they just invested $20 million into Curve Finance. The reason they did this is to bring added liquidity to new and existing ART tokens. This $20 million is going to be spread across Curve's governance tokens, including CRV, Convex, and Stake DAO. Now, what is interesting about this whole situation is that, again, it's going to expand the RSR liquidity network to what Curve already offers. And Curve has established themselves in this market when it comes to liquidity and lending and things like that. I haven't done a lot of digging on Curve, but every time I see Curve in a headline, it's always associated with something good. So RSR, Curve coming together, adding liquidity. And this is something else too that you might want to pay attention to. In the last 4 months, these R tokens, which is what RSR allows people to create, they have exceeded 23 million in market cap in just the last 4 months. Okay, 3 of their offerings have. One of them being EUSD, which launched during the banking crisis that we had a few months ago. And I remember sharing the tweet about how there was a depegging that occurred, but it was repaired within 15 minutes because of how RSR's liquidity system is set up. This move that they just made with Curve is just going to make that happen even faster in the event that something else goes wrong. So you have a lot of security and you have a lot of scalability now that is going to come from this deal. Very good thing to see for RSR. A lot of people aren't paying attention to this project. Those are the ones you want to pay attention to. We're talking about the development of not just cryptos or meme coins, but genuine stable assets that have value and that can be turned around and immediately implemented into an ecosystem, into an economy, or wherever you want to put it at. Got to keep your eye out for RSR for sure. But now let's talk about a project we haven't talked about in a minute. VeChain, ladies and gentlemen. I love VeChain, okay? I'm going to tell you right now. VeChain was the asset that kept me in crypto. because when I got in at the end of 2019, VeChain was one of my biggest bags. Got in at the exact same price point that I'm in at now. So this is going to be fun. But got in 2 cents, popped to 25 cents. I never left crypto since. And now VeChain has made many moves on the geopolitical scale. This one is very interesting. They were added to the Hong Kong Virtual Asset Index. All right. This is quite the lengthy name. Hong Kong Virtual Asset Commission. They created an index of crypto assets that investors and companies in the region should follow. VeChain was selected. Now, what is so interesting about this is that this is months after Sunny Lu, VeChain's founder, spoke in front of the Hong Kong Treasury and presented the new version of VeChain's white paper. That's an immediate turnaround if I've ever seen one. And then outside of this, guys, Hong Kong has been making a lot of moves recently. We just talked about the headline of them opening their arms to Coinbase, as well as you have the Bank of China using Ethereum for tokenized securities. There's a lot of activity going on over there. And this is going to be a bold statement, but I'm pretty sure VeChain is going to fall into that list of BRICS coalition assets. And it's mainly because of the areas that they're serving, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be a theme in that video. You're going to see that the correlations that I've made are based on the locations of adoption that we have just watched unfold for the last couple of years. So this is very big. And then also something else I found of interest is that Samsung Heavy Industries. This is Samsung's shipping department, right? So they, with the help of DNV, can now use VeChain's VeThor blockchain within their shipping containers. So when Samsung goes to import and export from wherever they're doing it from, there's a chance now that VeChain Thor technology will be involved in that process. And if you know that VeChain specializes in NFC, RFID tracking, the IoT traceability of goods from one location to the next. That's their strong suit. And they've just teamed up with Samsung to make it even better. Again, I don't understand why people always get at VeChain, but guys, we're going to hold on and we're going to rock strong with VeChain. You know, VeChain, I just told you the story from 2 to 25. I ain't back at 2 cents again. This time I'm seeing 50 cents. I already know, and I believe it, guys. We're going to land a plane, and we're going to talk about a couple, well, mainly just one geopolitical story that stood out to me is the Digital Pound Foundation has welcomed Fireblocks. Fireblocks will be joining as a corporate member and a member of their regulatory working group. Now, the reason why this is interesting to me is for a couple of reasons. Fireblocks is in the XDC ecosystem. Digital Pound Foundation works with Ripple, Celo, and Quant, and now it has me thinking that the XDC network may not be too far around the corner. All right, just a little speculation. Nothing has been confirmed as of yet, but if you look at the trajectories of both organizations, yeah, XDC could be very valuable to you guys at the Digital Pound Foundation. And then here's something else that is not crypto related, but it centers around an idea that I have. All right. So the UK has just announced that they will be unveiling basic income programs. Now, this is something that I have been looking into for a number of weeks because one thing that I see is that they have a problem scaling these programs. Now, if you're unfamiliar, we're talking about universal basic income in its earliest stages here. If you look around, there are multiple places in the world where these basic income programs are slowly starting to pick up traction. Here's the one thing that they're missing: the scalability. And where can they find it? Blockchain, ladies and gentlemen. I'm formulating an idea, something that will galvanize us as a community and give us a mission going forward. All right. As I piece it together, of course, you guys are gonna know what the plan is, but I think we have a major opportunity here. Okay, a major opportunity, and someone's gonna connect these two dots: basic income programs, blockchain technology. That might be a sleeper use case that we don't see coming. So just things I want to keep on your radar, guys. But that's all I got for this one. Of course, if you found value, you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that way you don't miss the next one. And as always, I want you to have a great day. Have a prosperous day. And most importantly, if that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'm Wade Teamer, and I'll see you in the next one.